Hey guys, welcome back. I have another breakdown. I'm really excited about this one. This is between Fernando Cruz, who is actually my brother. He started training with me a little less than 4 years ago. Um, when he was a kid, I would make him train a few times, and so he would, get out a lot because he was into sports. And then he moved to North Carolina in about the spring of 2018, and he started training as much as he could. Sometimes twice a week, sometimes once a week, sometimes 5 times a week. It just varied. But he's doing this now. So he is fighting a tough brown belt competitor in a nogi match with advanced rules. The person he's fighting is Nathan Shao. I believe I pronounced that correctly. Nathan is a very accomplished brown belt, fighting out of Elevate MMA over in Durham. Real good guys, very, very technical, very good in nogi, MMA, and gi. And so let me get this started. So in this match, they're gonna do some hand fighting. It's important to note that Ferny, my brother Fernando, he works. He does. We do a lot of gi, but for this match, he was starting to train a lot of no gi, maybe a month out, maybe a little bit more than a month. I can't remember. So he worked a little bit on wrestling, worked some leg locks, and really just focused on his game, which is he's a very good pressure passer. And when we roll and spar, he gives a lot of the guys a lot of trouble. He gives me a lot of trouble. And I think he's just, he learns very fast. So here he goes, shoots in for a really nice single, catches it, and immediately dumps. Beautiful. We'll play that one more time. Notice the entry of, he goes, nice setup right here, goes for the single, duck unders, uses the arm. If you see his right arm, it's being kind of gripped. He's kind of using that to enter, and gets a nice single, tries a leg trip, holds it in, scoops up, and gets the takedown. Important to note, this is no points in the first few minutes, and he's trying to pass. And again, they're doing some hand fighting, and his opponent tries to shoot like a leg lock, and Fernie does a great job with backstepping and almost passing. His opponent comes up, and so they decide to wrestle up again. So you'll see some more hand fighting, good clinch work. Like I said, Fernie's not the greatest wrestler, but he does work hard and he does put in the time. And we have some really tough wrestlers that really work with him and take him down a bit. So you can pause this part again and go back into that beautiful setup. He hits a single one more time, and right there, same setup, ducks under, very tight, very close. If you notice, he's using the grip on his wrist to shoot underneath, which was really nice. Comes up, traps a leg, sits up, and immediately finishes with a kind of leg trip, single leg / Tanotoshi type of movement. Finishes, and one thing right here, he's on his knees. He's never on his knees. And so that was one thing I was trying to coach them is, hey, get off your knees. We don't like to pass off our knees. Why? Because we're not mobile and we can't move. And so he immediately gets off his knees and starts working leg drag, trapping the bottom leg. He immediately backsteps, tries to work body lock passing. He uses his head to pummel away from frames. He's working far distance here. Gets into a very good headquarter position. Is on his knees, which is fine in this case because he's trying to pin the bottom leg. Stands up and is controlling the legs very well. This prevents a lot of entanglements and leg locks. Steps on the foot and then uses it to backstep. So it's very good. Let me play that one more time because if you notice, it's a really good setup. Pins the leg with his leg. Is going to use his opponent's grip. See how he's using his opponent's grip? Trap, steps over, and then he's going to backstep. Very nicely. This is something that we work on at our school. We drill a lot of conceptual drills, kind of just to give us a more subconscious feel to it, so we don't really think about movement. We just kind of go. And so like back steps, knee cuts, leg weaves, leg drags. So he passes a guard. I believe there's no points yet. His opponent does a good job recovering. And so Ferny's going to use a lot of the similar movement in the next chain of events right here. Well, he'll kind of chain some movements here, controlling the wrist. A knee cut position. His far leg is back, so it's very hard to get leg lock. He moves the headquarters straight into a back step attempt. Back steps. So he's something he can work on right here. I'll pause it. I'll come back. Is instead of just back stepping, if the back step is not there, he can come back up to like a knee cut or a headquarters. But notice he falls a little bit too much to his hip, and so I would like to see him be up a little bit higher, but that's okay. He makes it work and he passes. And he does a good job kind of pinning his opponent there. Is a great way when you put your arm in the middle of their guard, their legs. It's a great way to kind of stabilize. You just have to be careful with like a reverse triangle. But good position here. Good crossface. Good side control. And so he's isolating the arm. Goes back to crossface. Steps over. He does this really well, and I wish he would have done this more because his opponent actually gives him more of these opportunities. You see right there, he could have done it again, step over to the back, but instead he sprawls to the back, which is fine because he ends up coming around and almost taking the back. So it's a good scramble, good transition, but I just feel like he can do more with less energy. So let's come back to it. So right here as he steps over, I would like to see him do more of that step over to the back. But he's, he's kind of like using his sprawl technique there, and that's fine too. That way right there, instead of getting kind of tossed off, he can really be working the back attacks. And so something I would like to see him work on. It's kind of like a less is more. You're moving with less energy consumption, and you're just kind of relaxing, just drilling. And it's actually a technique we drill a lot. And he didn't do it as much. He did it a few times, which is fine. I mean, he ends up scrambling, comes up. His opponent turtles, and he could have taken the back here, but when he attempts the back, again, he rolls a little bit too much, comes up for leg drag, and then stabilizes. And this is an exciting match. Oh yeah, there he does it again. Simple back step. This is a really good way he implements Kazushi. As his opponent grabs his arm, can you see that? He uses it to backstep. So see it one more time. He's passing. His opponent does a 2-on-1. Try to enter like the Senkaku, or I'm sorry, the Ashigarami, and he's able to easily backstep because of the Kazushi. He uses his own force against him. So he did a good job with the timing and the drilling of that. And Ferny's game is really, like I said, is really pressure heavy, very strong, and it works. It works really well against people with good guards or leg locks, which his opponent was really good at leg locks. And this match, they allowed heel hooks. So you have to be very careful when you apply the techniques and pressure pass. So they're here for a bit. I don't remember when points start counting, so you have to forgive me because I can't remember when it happens. His opponent does a good job inverting and tries to scoot underneath, and again he uses that great body mechanics to pass. So let's play that one more time. His opponent, there we go. He inverts one more time. Good crossface. His opponent inverts. A good way to prevent them from inverting is like grabbing the back of the head and lifting him up, right? And it will actually prevent his inversion. And it looks like Ferny tries to do that a little bit, but it's kind of hard to tell because it's such a good scramble. So right here, he can also push his feet down and go into like a leg drag / stack pass, right? But he ends up going like knee cut. And then his opponent is going to do the same thing. Try to go underneath, maybe set up an Ashigarami, maybe set up a Senkaku, right? Honey hole. And Ferny does a great job, again, using that Kazushi movement. As soon as he's pulled in, he uses it to backstep very nicely. Backsteps, uses his knee, and then comes over, and then knee cuts, gets taken down, in a sweep, but then reverses immediately and stays on top. So I don't think points are counted. I can't remember, to be honest, if points were counted. It didn't matter. The game plan was simple. We wanted to come in, and he wanted to just really focus on getting the submission, passing, and getting the submission. Here he's in a quarter mount, and he's really just trying to focus on passing. So he kind of is very patient here. Again, hats off to his opponent. He's very slick with the guard and the leg locks. And I could tell you, it was a long match, so I can imagine these guys were, pretty tired. It's a tough place to be in when you're grappling this long. So here he's in a half guard, and something I would like him to correct is not stay on his outside knee. When you're tired, totally get it, totally understand. I've been in these tournaments, and you're just so tired. You just kind of want to rest a little bit. But if he can bring out his left leg as he knee cuts, he can have, there he goes. He does it. Okay, great. He does this. This is a better position. This is better than this. Okay, so you always want that outside leg nice and strong and far away from your opponent to hook it, to try to leg lock it, to try to scoop underneath your hips. So it does a good job controlling the head, starts to knee cut, points his knee across. And this is kind of a staple of ours at our school. We do a lot of knee cut passing, a lot of leg drag. And it's basic, it's fundamental, but it works really well in a competition setting, in a self-defense setting, in an MMA setting, because you're very low center to the gravity, and it's very, very foundational stuff. Back steps again. Good control. His opponent has a really good guard. He's able to connect his knee there. See how he brings his knee to his elbow, which is very good. So Ferny goes to north-south, passes, and this is the scramble I'm kind of talking about here, and I think points are counting here. So let's go back real fast. So if Ferny can just step over the head and back kick, then he can get the back here. But instead he kind of waits, and then his opponent's able to turn it into a nice single, very nice single by his opponent. Comes up, gets the single, and I believe the points are counted here. So I don't know if he's down. I don't remember, but I know there's 2 points. So he uses the half guard, and it looks like it's a combination of him using the half guard to sweep, and at the same time, his opponent is trying to go for a leg lock. So I think his opponent kind of makes it easier to sweep and kind of falls for it. He goes here because I think, or he's trying to retreat. I can't, it could be a combination of those. Either way, he gets the sweep back. Now points are counting, I think, because I saw the referee raise his hand. So they might be tied. It might be close at this point. Tries to go underneath, and again, I would like to see Ferny improve his passing just a little bit by staying more on his feet and going to headquarters or knee cut. But he's tired, and I don't blame him. That was a good long match. His opponent tries to go K-guard / matrix entry, maybe to get a leg lock. He got like a calf crush or heel hook, but Ferny also throws in a little leg attack of his own. So good little combo there. Comes up, his opponent tries to shoot it. Ferny tries to fall for his own leg attack. They're both kind of loose on each other. No one's really got anything. So Ferny comes back up to regain his position for a pass, another back step. And I think we were coaching to just breathe, because at that point you get so caught up in the emotion of the match and your adrenaline, your heart rate, and even if you get a good warm up, and you just got to remember to breathe. So it was a great match. He's up on top, and he really wanted the submission, and so he tries to find another few ways. His opponent is really good, had some attacks of his own, and they're here for a bit. I'm sure they're both tired. I would be tired too. I don't remember the opening points only. I can't remember if it's 6 or 10 minutes. I just know it was a long match. Good crossface, good side control. I mean, his opponent's doing everything right, trying to just frame and prevent himself from getting in worse positions. I mean, that's the right thing to do. So a bit of a stalemate here. Uses his crossface to kind of open him up a little bit, maybe advance to a neon belly. I think that's what he wants. So, and Ferny doesn't compete a lot of no-gi. He does mainly gi competitions. And when he applied for the Toro Cup, he told me he applied for both, which I was a little surprised, which is great for him. He wants to kind of get more into no-gi as it gets more popular and there's more opportunities for him to compete. So when he told me I got a no-gi match, he was pretty pumped and excited. He's done a few local competitions, but it was fun to see him do his first super fight. So he goes for like a, kind of an attempt, comes up. See, that's kind of what I was saying. He regains his opponent regains guard. He's able to pass again. This is kind of what I was talking about. Like if he can just step over the head to the back, he'll have a better opportunity to work the back a little bit. Has an opportunity to bolo there. I could show it real quick. There's a bit of a pause to bolo. Like he can wrap his leg over his leg and go for the back, but that's not really Ferny's game. He likes to just pressure pass and just, make his training partners at home feel miserable when he's rolling. Does a good job. Takes the back here. Secures his hooks. Gets both hooks. Is really working. He's trying to go for the choke. Gets his points. He pulls him to the other side. So, something, again, Ferny could work on is connecting his chest to his opponent's back, right? So he's always behind him. When he made that transition, he just kind of got a little lazy and just kind of let his opponent turn to the other side, right? And he didn't follow him. So maybe just connecting his chest to his back and really controlling him, because then from here, he's kind of in a slash back take slash almost close guard. Goes for the arm bar. Opponent gets out and time, and they're pretty tired. I don't blame him. It was a long match, really, really fun. Ferny wins by points. He wanted to submit him. That was the game plan: is to pass the guard, submit him with either a choke or an arm bar. But it's a win. Win is a win. We'll take it. Really proud of Ferny for doing this, because Ferny is a purple belt. Got his purple belt last year. Has only been training a little bit under 4 years. And his opponent is a brown belt, pretty accomplished brown belt, who's, been doing really well in the competition circuit. Has been, from what I understand, has been winning some of these matches in seconds, like 5-10 seconds with heel hooks. And so I think that was Ferny's, main game plan, is just like, I'm going to pressure pass, avoid the heel hooks. Ferny likes to leg lock too. But he kind of didn't want to play with that since it was his first major no-gi super fight. He kind of really wanted to just focus on what works, and his pressure passing is pretty good. So I think it was a great performance. He came out on top. There were no points in the beginning. If this was an IBJJF adult brown or black belt match, he would have probably won by a lot of more points. But because it wasn't no points, it was submission only. He was playing the submission game. I was really impressed with his performance. He's been doing a lot of sports psychology stuff at the school and outside the school, like really just focusing on his mental health and like really focusing on like the mental aspect, which I think is huge. He's been training consistently, like I said, for about a month, give or take. He was doing more no-gi. He would put the gi on, he would teach, and then he would kind of roll a little bit with the gi, and then he'd take his gi top off and try to get bodies. We only have a no-gi class maybe like twice a week in the evenings, and 3 times a week in the evenings, and then once in the noon, and he's always there for like noon and evenings. So it's hard to like train no-gi every day when you have a super fight, but you also have to teach classes with the gi. So he was able to do more gi, and he was able to really really come out on top and really showcase what he's made of. And Great job to his opponent, who is, just really good. I mean, he was really trying to work his leg locks and get underneath. He was working his wrestling game as well. Like I said, Fernie needs to improve in some areas, but overall, I was really impressed with his performance, and it was proud to coach him in his corner. And I'm proud to do this breakdown because he is my younger brother. Like I said, I would have him train on and off since he was a kid, but we treated it like soccer. He would go for a month or two, and then my mom would take him out, or our mom would take him out, and then he would get away with not training for a year or two, and then he'd get back in for like another month, and then he would, not quit, but just go back to other sports. And so I never really had that jiu-jitsu influence that I wanted to have because he had other sports. He did track, he did powerlifting, he did football, and he was pretty good at all of those sports. So it is easy to note that he is pretty athletic. So he is very strong. Also, he doesn't lift, and I'm a little frustrated because I've been trying to get him to lift with me because I think he'll improve even more. So Fernie, if you're watching this, start going to the gym with me, okay? Do some kettlebells, deadlifts, and you'll get even stronger. But he's naturally strong, and I think he's naturally smart. So he's able to pick up the techniques and drill them and really learn to incorporate this stuff. So it was great to call this match, or rather to coach this match. Toro Cup is doing an amazing job. I can't wait to see the next one. They're doing an awesome event at the next one. They're bringing in Flow Grappling. So if you have a Flow Grappling account, you get to watch this from anywhere around the world, which is crazy. It's crazy how big the North Carolina scene has gotten since I moved here 7.5 years ago. Jiu-jitsu was already good here, but it was like a hidden gem, and now it just continues to grow and grow and grow, and the people here are doing an amazing job. So Toro Cup, this was Toro Cup 19. Toro Cup 20, I believe, will be at the end of April, and it'll be in Durham, North Carolina, with Flow Grappling, and we plan to have more students do that one as well. And so some things to learn from this is chain passing, takedown sequence, using the wrestling and the clinch, and using some of the setups to get the single legs, stuff he could work on, staying off his knees when he's passing, going back to headquarters knee cut, making sure that staple outside leg is always strong. Chain passing and going to the back. He had opportunities to go to the back more, and he was kind of wrestling a little bit and using some of his side control base, which was fine. Congratulations to his opponent for putting on a great match as well, and the guys at Elevate MMA. Really, really impressed with the stuff they're doing. And now we just wait for his next one. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are looking at jiu-jitsu for the first time, or you've been training for a while and been following our channel, ask questions in the comment section. See what you guys would like to really witness or kind of watch. We're going to do more of these breakdowns. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown, and I hope you guys like this content, because we're going to be putting out more content. And one thing I like to say is, like, when we look at some of these matches, we really like to focus on all aspects of jiu-jitsu. So like from the sport competition, like you just saw, all the way to the self-defense, all the way to the MMA. I think it's very good if you practice all those areas, whether it's gi, no gi, train it all, because at the end of the day, you want to be, well-rounded. So anyway, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer those questions as best I can. And until next time, I hope you find an area to train hard, and we'll see you next time.